enjoying sitting here. Goes well, doesn't it, with the, yeah?
Give him a shine. Give him a shine, Harsh.
151. I must tell you the truth. It came straight out of the... I don't know where it came from. Is it 170, 180? I said 150. But, right, here we are on MPL Presents.
Very good, Harsh. Very good. I will just say,
you know
well
what?
done.
You actually get the feeling...
Spot on.
You're getting married again. It looks like one of those ceremonial Indian marriage chairs. But tell me, what is it about Rajasthan Royals? I mean, they were 48 after 4 overs. Next 15 overs, they made 85. And, I mean, they only got to 150 because this late burst. But they keep wickets in hand and make 140. They go hard at the top and make 150.
You just feel with Rajasthan they're not quite sure at the minute of how to play. They're not quite sure what tempo to bring to the crease. They kind of went hard, lost a few wickets, kept going, lost more wickets, stumbled in that middle region. Didn't look like anyone was going to get going, and then they find Gopal at the end, and Jofra Archer just hit a few boundaries. They're at a score that you think, if they field brilliantly, bowl incredibly well, take a few flying catches, Chennai come out and bat with no brains, don't
basically
play so well.
Script.
They've got half a chance of winning, but it's for me, it's a stumbling way to play. They didn't quite get it as you'd probably have planned to do, but they've got a score on the board.
I mean, number 9 has made 19 of 7 balls to allow them to get to 151. Look at that summary. The summary gives you an idea. I mean, someone like Steve Smith has got 15 of 22. Josh Butler got them off to a start, 23 of 10. Rahane got 14 of 11. And then thereafter, really, even Ben Stokes, 28 of 26.
Everyone's struggling, and they're losing their shape time and time again. Vaughan and I talked about it in the combox that Josh Butler was brilliant up the start, but 26 doesn't win you games, and he lost his shape, played a shot that he probably just shouldn't have played to that particular ball in that area. The nine in the power play, and then 9 at the back end. But 7 through 15, just 5.5. It's not.
You're a believer. You lose 3 wickets in the first 6 overs. You lose 75% of your game.
Yeah, I'm with that. The stats
don't lie.
The stats don't lie on that fact. But they just all. Ben Stokes, to me, you've seen a lot more of him, Vaughan. But I mean, I've seen a fair amount. He's just everything's going mid-wicket. He's losing his shape. He's not looking to time the ball. He's looking to just bludgeon the ball. For me,
when Ben Stokes is playing well, the ball goes straight because his hand goes towards the ball, and the ball and the blade of the bat, it just comes straight through in one plane. You can see at the minute it's all coming across, and he's just losing shape, he's losing his time, and he's not getting the full face of the bat on the ball on contact. It's always like half of the bat hitting the ball, and that's to me always a sign that Stokes is not quite getting his bat playing through the shape.
We talk for a lot of young Indian players, we talk about the pressure of the price tag. Is the pressure of the price tag on Ben Stokes? Is he almost saying, I need to be Pollard, I need to be Russell, I need to be that guy?
Rajasthan have got 2 of the biggest buys who have basically been, I wouldn't say the biggest failures, but have underachieved. Unadkat and Stokes. And what they pay, 12.5 for Unadkat?
Get a lot of money,
as well, and he hasn't done a thing for them. Now they
released him. They released him last year, but they bought him back for a big price tag again.
Bought him back for a big price tag again. But I mean, they tried 3 games into the season this year. They tried to say, okay, we're not going to use him up front. We're just going to bowl him at the death. He's going to bowl 4 overs at the back end, use those slower balls, and try that way. Well, then that didn't succeed, so they dropped him. Now they brought him back in tonight. Stokes is the same. The massive money comes with massive pressure, particularly at a franchise that is not successful. And when they're not going well, you start to feel more and more of that pressure.
It's interesting. I wonder that happens in football clubs in England. Rajasthan Royals has always been a very price-conscious, value-for-money franchise until the new television deal meant they had money to give everybody. Have they come to terms with the fact that they've splashed out all this big money?
I mean, only the players can answer that question. Only Ben Stokes could say whether the price tag's putting pressure on him. I actually look at Ben Stokes' bat, and if you look at it closely across the different formats over a couple of years, he hasn't been playing great. He's had the odd innings, and he's had the odd little kind of 30-40 minute period in the shorter format of the game. You go, he's back, but I just wonder whether he's thinking too much about batting. You know, when he first came onto the lights a few years ago, he just came out there. There was no thought. It was a natural swing of the bat. It was beautiful to see, and he just saw a ball and hit the ball. I just wonder, with more experience, more times, more game time, you almost know too much. And his brain's over-analysing the way to play cricket, whereas Ben Stokes a few years ago, when he was rough, he was raw, it was like, I just see the ball and hit it.
He's too good a player, isn't he?
I just wonder there's too much going on. And I don't think he's the kind of person that would be affected by a price that he just plays the game.
Yeah.
But I just think he's potentially maybe playing the game with too much thought in his mind at the minute.
Steve Smith comes in with this 12 and over and makes 15 of 22.
Yeah.
Is he almost trying to say, I've got to start, I'll bat till the end?
Well, he just, again, it's like the 70 he got off 62. It's not match winning.
No.
70 off 30. 70 off 40 is match winning.
When you're going 120, the longer you bat, the more you lose the game.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, the 70, and they lost it easily in the end when he got 70 off 62 balls. Well, it's not good enough to win you a game, and you can't afford to start slow. One of the phrases that I hate when commentators use is, "Oh, he can always catch up." Well, you never catch up.
Yeah.
You increase your strike rate, but you never catch up on balls you missed out on scoring on, because catching up is a myth.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do is increase your strike rate. That one that was a dot, or the one that you didn't get a one off,
it's still
it's
a dot.
gone.
Yeah.
You don't catch up on that, and that's something he's struggling with.
The Rajasthan lineup is a lineup that if they're all playing well and they're all full of confidence, and you're getting Butler giving you the flyers, it probably works.
Yeah.
But when Butler's not giving you the flyers, and you've got Rihani at the top struggling and scratching around a bit, and then you've got Sanju Samson who's just, he's back in after an injury, he's inconsistent.
Yeah, he hit the first ball for 4 and then he's gone. Yeah.
And then you've got Steve Smith who, whether we want to say it or not, he's probably thinking about himself at the minute. He's been out of the game for a year. He's got a dodgy right elbow. He's thinking, can I just do enough in terms of middle time to get myself in a position to be in that World Cup squad for the Australians? So you've probably got a team where one individual in particular, and he's not the kind of guy that would play for himself, but in the back of his mind, he has to be thinking, I need a bit of game time. So do I play completely for the team, or do I play to make sure this is right and I'm right for that World Cup?
I'm glad you said
time?
it, because it would have crossed the minds of a few people. It's just everyone saying, can we say it? I mean, he's a big player, isn't he? But you look at Rajasthan Royals' last 2 years. Last year, they lost, 3 or 4 of their first 5-6 games? The turnaround happened because Butler had 5 good games.
Yes.
Butler had 5 or 6 good games. They sneaked into the playoffs. This year, they're struggling again. So it seems to me that the whole side is built around a start from one man.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, I love the way Rajasthan operate. I love the management, to everything that they do around the team, the way they look after their families in and around the setup. But sometimes that can be too nice. And when you've got Paddy there being all fluffy and nice. You've got Zubin.
You used 2 words there, though. Yeah. One was nice and one not necessarily.
Well, but it is. It's just everything's great. Everything's beautiful in that world. You've got Zubin, who is much the same.
Amol and Sairaj.
And so there's nobody in that lineup to me that is going to sit one of those players down and put it on him at any stage at all. Not one person is going to do that to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those players. And that, to me, is the only little thing I'll say about Rajasthan at the moment. Now, we're talking about them as if they lost. They haven't lost yet. They've still got to go out and bowl, and there's still a chance.
They still haven't got enough.
I just wonder whether there is one person...
They've got a tough call to make.
Yeah. Is there someone that can make that call?
He gave an interview during the game, Ashton Turner. He's the perfect style of player that they need in that middle. That can come in. He's a smart cricketer.
Yes.
So he will read the situation. But if he has to go early, he'll go early, and he can strike the ball out of the ground. He'll need to come into this team. It's who they leave out. Steve Smith will be the one that will be under a huge amount of scrutiny.
And I'm just going back. I was at that first game in Jaipur. They're mounting a really good run chase. Josh Butler gets run out backing up too far, and the season goes downhill.
Correct.
After that.
Yeah.
Blame that man, Cat.
Yeah, exactly. And they were
in.
But that's the thing about
He was in today. Sorry to interrupt you. He was in today, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah.
But how is that going to, why would that define your season? I mean, they're possibly still thinking about that. They're still angry about it.
Is it possible?
It's gone. Absolutely. Absolutely, it's possible that they're still thinking about that. They're going, geez, we'd have won that game if Joss hadn't been run out. If that hadn't happened, maybe this would all be different. Well, the fact is it's not different. You've just had exactly the same thing for the last 4 games. Yeah. So you've got to change it. It's getting too late in the season. This is the one thing. It's such a short, exciting season. You've got to make these changes. You've got to make these calls early.
What about they've got, let's be honest, 2 of the top 4 are longer format players.
Yeah.
They've got Ajinkya Rihani and Steve Smith, who you would have in every test team.
Yeah.
You questionably put them in 50 overs team, yes, but T20 teams.
No.
The game's moved on. It's a different world that we're in. The touch players and the little players that can kind of manoeuvre the ball into the gaps, rotate the strike. They're for my era. It's not for this era.
Not even Simon's, yours.
No, we were 75 strike rate. I think they might have got to 85 strike rate.
Yeah, it's a different world now. You need strikers, and you can have one what I call touch player, what I call a proper player. You can have one of those. You can't have two in your top.
What about Chennai? They just seem to drag it back.
Yeah.
I mean, today we looked at that lineup. We said, okay, 3 spinners. He doesn't really have anyone at the death. We saw what happened when they went after the death bowler, but they still drag it back. They bowled well. He got overs out of Santner. Santner's first over was expensive.
Yep.
He's finished 1 for 25. Jadeja's bowled 2 for 20. Imran Tahir none for 28. So look at the spinners. Spinners have got 6.25, 5 and 7.
Yeah, and someone's going to go. At some stage, someone at the death is going to go tonight, Shadul Thakur, but he's had to do that job. They don't have another option apart from Mr. Roundarm, and they didn't use him again. So they have to bowl their 4 overs. You've got to take the responsibility. He got met at the death, but everyone else has bowled so well around him that they've still only got 151 on the board. If he gets met at the death and you're chasing 205, you're in trouble. But they're chasing 152.
What is it about Dhoni? He just seems to drag it back. He seems so cool. Okay, 48.
Well, I think that's the key, Harsh. He's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah. I think the best piece of advice I could give any captain is try and be MS Dhoni. Very difficult to do that, but just try and stay level. A bowler, a fielder, he always looks to the captain.
Yeah.
When something doesn't go right, the ball goes to the boundary, it goes into the stand. Subconsciously, a bowler will always look to his captain. You have a little glance just to see how the captain's reacting. If your captain's just one of those things, this happens in the game.
There was a great moment. There was a great moment at the end of Mitchell Santner's first over. For those that have recorded it or watching it, go back and have a look. He's gone for 12, 13 in that first over, I think. And the last ball, he's bowled quite a tight one on the leg side, and they've just nudged it into the onside for 1. And Santner's taken off after it. He's picked it up, had a chance to throw at the stumps, didn't. And Dhoni's just sitting there going, he's walked up to him, given him a little chat, and he's gone for 14 off the over. But Santner's just given it everything off that last ball to try and create something, make a run out. And Dhoni, he's not bothered. It's 14. So be it, mate. That'll happen.
Suresh Raina told me once, he said there have been occasions playing for CSK, and I thought, oh no, I need to get a move on, and I'm all charged up, and I'm trying to play the big shots. And he said, I looked down, and he says, he says, what am I getting worked up about? Yeah. He's just so cool at the other end.
Yeah.
So
I like the fact when one of his team drops a catch, he just reacts, as he always does, coolly, but then he just looks and watches the screen. You want to watch the replay?
Yeah.
And he's watching and goes, fair enough. He shrugs his shoulders.
He did that yesterday, a couple of days ago with Tahir. He did that once with Jadeja.
Yeah.
They both wanted a review. And he sort of suggested, look, it's missing the stumps, and then he said, okay, you can have it.
Yeah. But he took the review today on Rahane, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's just he doesn't let emotion get in the way of anything. MS, and I think that's one of the keys. And Borny, you're captain a lot. It's if you just take emotion out of everything and just make decisions based on just knowledge, on what you think the character is like that you're talking to about these decisions, you'll be fine. And if you don't go too far that way and don't go too far that way,
he is the perfect
you'll be
example.
okay.
He reminds me that what he says to the players, it's just a game of cricket, and you know what, you'll make mistakes, and it's fine. As long as you have a go, as long as you're trying your best, as long as you're prepared, I'm absolutely fine with the outcome. I'm not going to rant and rave at you. I'm not going to point the finger at you. We're going to enjoy our game of cricket and see what happens at the end of it.
What is it about those two imposters, triumph and defeat? Leave them behind leave them behind. Treat the two the same. Now, if he wins today, if Chennai Super Kings win today, it will be Dhoni's 100th win. I mean, Chennai Super Kings 100th win, so Dhoni's 100th win as captain. That's quite a record, isn't it? 100.
It's phenomenal, isn't it? We were looking before.
Dhoni's 100th.
Yeah,
Dhoni's Chennai. He won a few with RPSG.
Yeah. Dhoni's 100th win in the IPL, but 155, I think it is, total T20 wins as a captain. It's mind-boggling, Like, the next on the list was Gambhir, I think. Wasn't
Number 2 doesn't have 100.
Yeah. I think he's got 98 across all the teams that he's captain Gambhir, so he's 57 ahead.
It's just
good luck catching him when you've retired.
He just walk away one day. Anyway, Watson and Duplessis have come out to open just 152 to get. We think they'll get it. We'll be with you at the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox.